Hi everyone, and welcome back to Starting from Scratch. It's now been 72 hours since I turned myself into a beginner again, and I've discovered a bunch of difficulties which I wasn't expecting, plus all the difficulties that I was expecting. Now, what I find helpful is to practice on 2 strings, just open strings, because that stabilizes the bow. Because my bow is unbelievably wobbly, which is why I'm continuously hitting other strings. So if you can imagine, if I have my bow just on 1 string, I have a certain amount of leeway in both directions before I hit another string. As soon as I have my bow on 2 strings, I have no more leeway, but the bow itself is much more stable on 2 strings than it is on 1 string. So that's one thing which I've been doing and which I find very helpful. Very difficult, that I'm going to have to practice a lot, but that's definitely getting me somewhere. Next thing which I have to do a lot of, which is very difficult, is octaves with open string and 3rd finger. Yeah, and this is one of the difficulties I was absolutely not expecting. I'm finding intonation unbelievably difficult. And I was not expecting that because I have a trained ear. But it seems that my trained ear gives signals to my brain to correct when something's not in tune. And my brain seems to be sending those signals directly into my left hand, which first of all results in, when I play out of tune, this way around, which is all the time, that my bow hand wobbles. I was not expecting that. Plus, I can't correct very well with my right hand because my finger doesn't know how much to correct. So there it seems that in spite of having a trained ear, the difficulty of intonation is unbelievable. So exactly for that reason, double stops starting with octaves, open string, 3rd finger are going to be what I'm going to be practicing a lot. Can't get it. Yeah, so intonation I'm finding incredibly difficult, very frustrating, because I'm used to at least being able to correct. But here the problem is not that I don't hear that it's not in tune, I find the correction very difficult. Yeah, and what I'm also doing is a sort of an enlarged spiccato done with the whole arm on open strings. The point of this is for my hand and arm to get used to the energy of the bow, because the bow comes back up on its own because of the tension in the hairs, and I want my hand to get used to that. I want it to be as relaxed as possible for this, and I also have to exercise a certain amount of control on how long the bow is actually on the string, because what I don't want is this. I want it to sound like a spiccato sound. So I have to play around with that a little bit. also something which is rather unconventional to do at this early stage, but it does help get a feeling for the bow. And in general, I'm trying right now at this stage to practice sounds and not so much correct movements, because that is not helping me right now. So when I'm doing this enlarged spiccato with the whole arm, that's not how I plan on doing spiccato later on, but to get a feeling for the bow and how the bow works. There, that sounds better. A string. I want as much resonance as possible. Resonance is the sound that's in the room after the bow has left the string, and I want as much of that as possible. Yeah, that was better. Yeah, so those are the things which I've been practicing a lot, and yeah, I have to honestly say it's more difficult than I expected, because I'm running into a bunch of difficulties which I didn't expect. But on the other hand, nearly everything on the violin turns out to be more difficult than one expects, so I guess that's just violin playing. Okay, subscribe to my channel if you want to continue watching me struggle and see where this goes. I wonder how far I will actually get this way round. Right now, I cannot imagine even being able to play something like the reading B minor concerto or anything like that this way around, but then I've also only been practicing it for a couple of days, so we'll see.